Hi everybody, welcome to week 1 of ECE 115, Family, Community, and Early Education. I'm so glad you're here. We want to start with just a few announcements. First of all, welcome to all my new students. I'm glad you're here. I want you to feel comfortable in these classes. So please be sure to email me or text me or Facebook me if you have any questions, okay? Our basic course format, each course is 4 weeks long. And of course, this is week 1. Weeks start on Monday and end on Sunday. New assignments begin every Monday. Initial discussion board posts are due by Wednesday at midnight. So be sure you hop on both of our weekly discussion boards and put your initial post up. Be sure and explain those well. Live lectures are Thursdays at 8 o'clock p.m. If you can make it, great. I can't wait to see you there. If you can't watch these recordings and give me a good detailed summary by Sunday at midnight for your points. Most of the other assignments, like I said, are due on Sunday. And in this course, instead of having a final project, we actually have a final exam, and this will be in week 4. So that helps you kind of plan your time as far as what to look forward to in the coming weeks. Here's an example of a typical week in our ECE courses. I try to set them all up very similarly so that each time you start a new course, you're not having to relearn how to navigate, where to find things, and when things are due. So please know that I try to stay fairly consistent there. I try to recommend that when you're looking at our web page and looking within a week's content, that you start over on the left-hand side of the screen. So you'll notice we have the readings, and this week it's Intro to ECE book, Chapter 3. We have 3 different e-texts that we work from, so be sure to pay attention to which book to look in. And then we also have a reading on biological theory. Over here we've got media, our Chapter 3 PowerPoint, vocabulary terms, and other supplemental resources that will help you with what we're covering this week. And every once in a while, I also throw up a video that you can watch as well. So if you'll start to the left, that's where you get your base for your assignments, where you can find your answers at. Then we move to our discussion area, 2 discussions every week in every class currently. So this week it was your family and methods of communication. Live lecture, this says Tuesday, I'm sorry, that's from a past class. It's actually Thursdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Right here, you'll see miss the lecture, click here. So that's where your recorded lecture will be. And lecture summary upload, that's where you'll submit your summary. Down here, we've got 2 assignments, family history and case studies this week. And we've got 1 quiz, the Chapter 3 quiz. Be sure to take your quiz before midnight on Sunday because these turn off after midnight. You won't be able to access them. So I hope that helps you out a little bit as far as the navigation goes. Our student question of the week: how many ECE courses are there? There are currently 8 total ECE online classes. So it starts with ECE 101 and goes all the way up to ECE 115 that you're currently in, and you'll probably notice that they're in 2-digit increments. So it goes 101, 103, 105, 107. I don't know why, that's just the way they were set up in the beginning. All of these are online. You don't have to take them in order. Of course, we have new students starting every month, and they begin in whatever class we happen to be in. So since you're in 115, your next class will probably be ECE 101. So that way you know what order to follow them in as well. Sometimes we'll have to make some changes to your schedule depending on the other classes you're taking as well, though. So let's look into a little bit of Chapter 3 today with the families, focusing on the families in early childhood, because you have to realize that you're not just taking care of a single child, you're also interacting with and hopefully enriching the lives of the family connected to that child as well. So what has an impact on the family? First of all, if we start with the center, the microsystem right here is the family itself, the immediate family and caregivers within the family. It might also include the classroom, your classroom, and the workplace as far as maybe where mom or dad work at. Okay, so that's the microsystem. That's the very immediate places that affect the family. Then we have the mesosystem. These are the relationships the family engage in. Maybe those are friend relationships, maybe those are families outside of the nuclear family, maybe this could include church as well or other groups that you belong to. Employment practices, this goes into how the employee works with the family. Are they going to let mom or dad take off work if one of the kids are sick? Are they flexible with their time? All these things impact the family. Ecosystem is government agencies. So what government agencies are interacting with this family? It might be DHS, could be just general agencies that help the betterment of the community as well that can make an impact. Mass media, the things that they see on TV. Then we have the macro system, that's way out there, our cultural, political, and economic forces. But all of these things, when you think about it, of course, impact the family and can possibly cause issues with the children that are in your care. So if we look here, the family is and always has been the most important element in most children's lives. And I hope you guys kind of reflected on this when you did our discussion board for this week, where you talked about your family. What forms do families take? And of course, we have this huge variety of different families now. The traditional family you don't see as often, but we have a lot of blended families out there. How has your family changed in form over the past 3 or 4 generations? I think you'll probably see that it's probably changed greatly. Think about the family structure in itself, where people work, where people live. One thing that I noticed from our discussion boards are that more and more families live apart. We don't stay in the same city or town as much as we used to. So you probably have family in other states that you don't see very often. And other elements that could, of course, make up the family as well. So lots of changes going on. So what do families need? Well, they need responsible and knowledgeable, keyword there, adults to care for the children while the parents work. Very important. If you're not happy and secure with where your children are, it's going to be hard for the caregivers to focus on the work that they're doing. So they need to be able to feel very comfortable with leaving their children in your care, and you're part of that puzzle. Families also need help with information about parenting and the stages of parenthood. So it's important that you study these areas, read up on current trends so that you can help these families when they encounter difficulties. So you're a source of information, you're a professional. What else do they need? They need empowerment so that they feel confident and competent in their parenting role. I wish we were born with all the information we needed to be a parent, but we aren't. And sometimes we have to pass that information on to other parents. Coordination of families needs and the program through communication. So we're going to talk a little bit about communication here in a minute and just how important it is in your daycare center or your learning center. Educators are the only people who lose sleep over other people's children, and this is so true. These children become so important to you, you focus on them so much, and you want to be able to help as much as you can. So why is communication so important? Well, first of all, there's lots of different methods of communication that can be used to get information to parents, either through the children or possibly through the center itself. So what are some of the methods that we currently have? Here's a few examples. We have informal contact, which is greeting, saying hello to the parents upon their arrival and when they're leaving with their child. We have occasional telephone calls, and it's important that we make an effort to contact parents, not just when the child's being good or facing challenges, but when they're being good and having a good time in the classroom, achieving some milestones. So they don't want to just hear the bad. We want to be sure and contact them to hear the good as well. Brief personalized notes that you might send home in their files. So then we also have formal contact, such as parent-teacher conferences, home visits. Some centers engage in this. Group contact, such as written communications, maybe a newsletter, or emails going out, bulletin boards. Some centers now use social media as well. Bulletin boards would be in your classroom where you can have lots of different informative information. Meetings or group functions as well. So informal, formal, and group contact are our main methods. Our family involvement, what can families do? Because a lot of families want to be a part of the program as well. The ones that have maybe the spare time or are able to get time off from work, they might be used as resources for information. Example, a great example is maybe you're studying multicultural art, and you've got a family that comes from one of those countries that you're studying their art from, or their music from, or their foods from, so they could come in as a resource to help out. Volunteers for the classroom for field trips, and also as decision makers, because we want those parents to feel as if they have a say. It's important that they don't feel shut out, that they are part of the progress, they're part of the team. If we look at this one, I love this. Every kid is one caring adult away from being a success story. So you have to know that you could possibly be that person, that adult that made a difference in a child's life. Maybe it's something you did one day. Maybe it's something you said, or maybe it's just the support that you give them day after day and the love that you pass on. So be sure and remember that. Our last slide is, are there any questions? And in live lecture, of course, we would discuss these things. However, since you're probably writing up a summary, please be sure and add your questions to your summary, or send those directly to me via email. Sometimes questions are very valid and needed to be addressed by everyone, because maybe other students have that same exact question, and I could put that in the student question of the week to help clarify. So don't be afraid to contact, text, email. Email is the most handy method. Even if I'm in a meeting, I can still sometimes check email and respond to you more promptly, or if I'm at home. So that's my preferred method. However, if you need to talk on the phone, that's great too. Give me a call. All right? You guys have a fantastic week, and I'll see you again in week 2.